Is Paddy Pimblett just not good enough? Before I get into that, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. UFC 324 is now behind us and my sleep schedule is absolutely fucked and I'm running off more black coffee than Lena the Plug.
That was a little bit of a surprise.
UFC 324 was a fun kickoff to the year and we got one hell of a main event to start things off. Justin Gaethje defeated Paddy Pimblett via unanimous decision in the main event, with two judges scoring it 49-46. And while Justin clearly won this fight, this wasn't some dominant walkover. Paddy actually did do some good work during this fight. He was landing combinations, snapping Justin's head back, throwing knees up the middle, and for a few brief terrifying moments, it did look like Justin was in trouble. But Justin landed some big bombs and almost ended the fight in the first round. Paddy recovered well though, but from then on, every clean shot looked like it could be the end. That said though, he showed just how durable he actually is. Gaethje's pressure was relentless this entire fight, and that over right hand found Paddy's chin over and over again. This fight highlighted what we knew already. Paddy's biggest issue is his boxing defense. It's pure dog shit. His chin is high, his hands are low, and his head movement is, well, it's all over the place. And against a volume striker like Justin, you cannot get away with that. What really baffled me though was the lack of grappling from Paddy. Even if he wanted to get into a striking battle with him, he should have at least threatened the takedown, just to give Justin something else to think about. There were no real level changes, no chained attempts, no clinch to groundwork, pretty much nothing. He chose to have a striking war with one of the most violent strikers the UFC has ever seen. It feels like Paddy was trying to make a statement and he paid for it. Gaethje walked through shots and trusted his durability. I actually think Justin lost a lot of the individual exchanges, but every time he landed hard as fuck and dropped Paddy multiple times. Paddy showed unbelievable toughness in this fight. He hurt Justin more than once and never stopped trying until the final bell. But toughness doesn't win rounds. Being durable doesn't rack up points, and I'm really interested to see where Paddy goes from here. He's still fairly young and we've probably got another 5 years of him at least, and if he can genuinely tighten up his boxing defense, I think there's a lot of potential there and maybe we could still see him as a champion. I think his next matchup is probably Dan Hooker. They've had some juicy beef on Twitter, it sells well and it's a solid fight for Paddy to get back into the swing of things. Then in the co-main event, Shaun O'Malley defeated Song Yadong 29-28 across the board. Sugar season is back and this was classic O'Malley. He doesn't throw much, but when he does, it's clean and straight down the pipe. Slick, well-timed counters, great knees up the middle, and a smart use of the teeps to maintain his range. That said though, Shaun did have a rough second round and Song did exactly what he needed to do. Calf kicks, clinch work, and some big takedowns that Shaun couldn't immediately get back up from. But the third round though was the key. Shaun adjusted up the output just enough and made sure he landed the cleanest shots of the round. Song was still pressing and still dangerous, but he was eating a lot of counters on the way in. That's why Shaun wins these fights. He doesn't need to just dominate, he just needs to land cleaner while you're working harder. And now the big question is though, does Shaun O'Malley get a title shot next? It all depends on Merab. Merab 100% deserves an instant rematch with Yan. They're one apiece and Merab had an incredible run as champion over a 12-month period. But let's be honest, the UFC could absolutely fuck Merab over here, right? O'Malley is a big star and the UFC would love the belt back on him. And that said though, Merab might want a break, which he fully deserves. He could just sit things out, recover properly, and fight the winner of Yan versus O'Malley when he comes back. Then we move on to the big boys. Waldo Cortes-Acosta defeated Derek Lewis via second round TKO. Lewis came out doing Lewis things as usual, standing tall, throwing big bombs and hoping he lands that big shot. Waldo came out with footwork and jabs and an actual game plan, which kind of feels like cheating at heavyweight, right? Technique and skill against one of the blobs, that's not allowed. The speed difference was massive as well. Waldo was touching Lewis with jabs over and over and over, stepping out of range and never staying in the pocket long enough to get hit with any big bombs. Then Lewis started swinging wildly and with the momentum going the wrong way, got dropped by a very light jab, and Lewis didn't even try to get up. No scramble, no explosion, he just laid there, let Waldo follow him down and ate punches until the ref stepped in. I don't know what the hell Derek Lewis was doing here, though it feels like another turning point for the heavyweight division. It's evolving fast and you can't just be a big bloke with knockout power anymore. You need footwork, cardio and actual technique. Acosta now has 5 wins under 12 months, and it feels like he's one big fight away from a title shot. That said, he might be waiting a while Aspinall fights Gane again, and Alex Pereira wants to move up to heavyweight, and John Jones is pretending he's coming back. Then we move on to women's flyweight. Natália Silva defeated Rose Namajunas 29-28 across the board. This one was razor close. Rose had her moments, particularly with the grappling and control, but Silva's speed, volume and striking variety just edged it with the judges. Over 3 rounds, Silva did more damage and stayed slightly more active. This also sort of reinforces something we've been seeing more and more now, especially in the women's divisions. Weight classes matter. Rose and Zhang dominated at strawweight, but neither has really got it going at flyweight. I honestly think both might be better off moving back down and causing a lot of problems down there, and then maybe we'll finally get that trilogy. Then opening up the main card, Gene Silva defeated Arnold Allen for unanimous decision, with 2 judges scoring it 29-28 and one giving it a 30-27, which I think is pretty ridiculous, to be honest. Allen started well, clean jabs, good movement, technically sound as usual, but you could tell the long layoff hurt him. His timing was just slightly off, his reactions were a little bit slower, and Gene Silva is an absolute nightmare if you're not at 100%. He has constant pressure, wild exchanges, and the longer it went, the more it suits Silva. And yet Silva literally jumped off Arnold Allen's back like it was some big WWE spot, which proves how much of an autistic twat he actually is. And I still think Arnold Allen could be world class, but inactivity and coming off a long shoulder injury at this level is brutal. Overall though, UFC 324 delivered. It was a great opening card for the year, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the year plays out under Paramount. Thank you everyone for watching. If you can like, comment and subscribe, it really does help the channel out.